What's happening on treasuries? What's happening on treasuries is treasuries are viewed as a safe haven from what's happening in the panic in Wall Street over the last week. Hundreds, millions of people, tens of millions of people thought the money market funds were insured. Well, they're not. They're going to be insured very shortly by the federal government, though. So therefore, if you had your money in money market funds, if a money market fund blew up, you could lose all kinds of money in a money market fund. People didn't know this. Your checking account is insured for $100,000. Sounds like a lot, but if you're a business and so forth, you keep $1 million, $5 million, $10 million in a checking account, and the bank goes out, boom, you've lost all your money except for $100,000. If you're an individual and you have a wife, you can put $100,000 in her Social Security number in a checking account, $100 in yours, that's $200,000. Big deal. What do you do with your cash if you got millions of dollars? So what people traditionally do is they put it into treasury bills and treasuries, because the federal government is looked as the final, last repository of anything that will not go out of business. So if the federal government won't pay its debts, the game is over for the entire world. That's how it looks. So what people did is they put their money into treasuries. Now in the last week, when we had a financial panic on Wall Street, people came out of money markets to the tune in one day alone of $150 billion and went flying into treasuries with that. So for the first time in American history, we saw treasuries, short-term treasuries, 30, 60, 90-day paper with no yield on it. None. No yield. In other words, people were saying, I'll take 1/4% loss for the next month or 2 months just so that I know the rest of my principal is okay, and they bought treasury bills. Unheard of. Now that should change very shortly, because as I said, the federal government is now insuring money market funds. They'll charge the money market funds some degree of interest in order to do that, or some kind of fee. But they had to do this to save the economy, to save us from sliding literally overnight into a depression that would look like 1929 all over again. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're fortunate that we have a Secretary of the Treasury that understands these things, because most of the guys who run Treasury, they're morons. God bless them, but they're political appointments. Lloyd Benson, who was a senator from Texas, who was put in there by Bill Clinton initially in '93, was put in there as a political appointment. He understood less about the economy than I understand about flying around the earth inside a spaceship. But he was a political appointment. But Bush, to his credit, has a Secretary of the Treasury who is smart as any person on this planet, a Wall Street guy, ran a big investment bank on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, for years, knew what he was doing, made hundreds of millions of dollars on Wall Street, year in, year out, knowing what he's doing. This is a guy that can get things done for us. We're very lucky. We're more lucky having him as Secretary of the Treasury than we are having Ben Bernanke as the Federal Reserve Chairman. And frankly, Alan Greenspan, in my opinion, got us into a considerable amount of this trouble by not stepping in and doing certain things he could have done years ago. He allowed the housing bubble to grow unabated for years and years, and now we have a crisis of unprecedented proportions in this country. All right? If you want to know more about this stuff, you check out our website. You have a great day. Bye-bye.